Prince Harry took the stand today in the UK, marking the first royal to take the stand in 132 years, and it's not looking good. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and yes, Prince Harry took the stand today. Sadly, there are no cameras, but we have the transcripts, and we're going to read through the first half of the day. And I got to say, it's not looking good for Harry. Look, I support Harry in his quest against the paparazzi. I don't like the paparazzi either, but the problem is, as the MGN, the Mirror Group, is proving, you need evidence. And it's so far, it's not looking in Harry's favor. We'll see how this goes. Now, he released a witness statement, and he goes through all the articles. It's a long document here. And at the end of this document is a list of all the articles published by the Mirror, the People, and its sites, and the ones that they're focusing on specifically. And yes, they went through these articles today. And I gotta say, Mirror Group is just taking him to task. So let's go through the quotes, shall we? I have the first quotes here. Harry has entered the witness box at 10:32. Duke of Sussex made his history today as he entered the witness box at 10:30 UK time in Court 15, modern wing of the Royal Courts. Again, first time a royal has given evidence in 132 years. He took his oath, poured a glass of water before his lawyer, David Sherborne, asked him how he would prefer to be addressed. You'd rather be called Prince Harry, to which the Duke nodded. Of course, he needs to be called Prince Harry. He's never going to live that down, even though I thought they took the titles. I guess that's His Royal Highness he can't be called, but he can still be called Prince Harry. Harry receives an apology at the beginning. Now, this is the one thing I will give Harry for, but it almost is very smart and calculated in the way of Mirror Group's like, look, we apologize. Some stuff was bad, but we didn't do anything illegal. But MGM, then Andrew Green, representing Mirror Group, has now begun his cross. I didn't realize it was going to start with the cross, but he did, urging Harry, basically apologizing again, and said, if we say anything too intrusive, let us know, of course. And he brings up the unreserved apology of the Duke at the beginning, saying that one incident of unlawful information gathering the publisher admitted to should have never happened, and it will never happen again. Sure, I believe that. If you believe that, I got a bridge to sell you in the middle of nowhere. All right, but they smartly, MGM smartly or not smartly, I think, realize they're going to lose something, so let's try to give a little bit so we only have to pay a little bit and not the full illegal stuff. Excuse me. Articles chosen by Harry showed most obvious elements of unlawful activity. Now, this is it. They were 143 articles originally. The Prince published in 3 Mirror titles, of which 33 were chosen. I believe there's over 140 articles in total, 33 in question today that Harry confirms. He agrees that he selected the articles to bring his claim together with his solicitors. Asked what criteria he used in choosing the articles, the Duke, Prince Harry, responds, the ones that showed the most obvious elements of intrusive and unlawful activity. Now, intrusive isn't the same as unlawful activity, and that's what the Mirror Group is going to really lean into here. Prince Harry says the government is also at rock bottom in the witness statement. He made an extraordinary intervention into politics, claiming that the government is at rock bottom. So usually you don't get to hear the royals comment on the politics over there. But yeah, he used it to take a shot at the government, saying, yes, it's at the rock bottom. 55 statement was released on Tuesday as he began giving his evidence, saying that the tabloid newspaper to the state of the government is like the press. Duke asked whether he read the articles in question. This is going to come into play. Pressing whether he read the articles. I didn't say that I didn't read them at the time. Newspapers are always in every single palace, unfortunately, as well as that some of the articles I may have not remembered or seen at the time. The vast majority of them were read by other people in my circle. It's weird that they had the newspapers. These are the tabloids, not the newspapers. Why were they there? Because they were keeping tabs. It sort of goes into the whole idea that, yeah, the royals were very involved in knowing and helping to know or help plant what was in the press. As a result of these articles, he said their behavior changed around time, his circle of people. The era is somewhat different compared to now. And in 1996, I was a child. I was at school. These articles are incredibly invasive. And every single time these articles were written, it had an effect on me, my life, and the people around me, including my mother. This is approximately 20 years ago. I'd be speculating if I said I can remember exactly reading these articles when I was 12 years old when pressed. Press has been hostile since I was born. He asked whether it would be right to say that he had a long-standing hostility to the press due to the press intrusion in his life. The Duke said yes. Finding out about the unlawful methods of how the information of these articles was obtained certainly shocked me, he told the court. He then is questioned further. He said, a quote that the lawyer for MGN read, "How much more blood will stain their typing fingers before someone will put a stop to this madness?" And the lawyer asked, who has blood on their hands? The Duke responded, some of the editors and journalists who are responsible for some of the pain and sadness and inadvertently death. He adds that the statement was written more broadly towards the tabloid press itself than any particular people in the media. I haven't named the journalists in that particular paragraph, saying his hope by giving the evidence is to stop to bring it all. Now, here's where they get into more of the stories specifically. Claimant's upset at the time the articles were published. As a child, every single one of these articles played an important and destructive role in my growing up, Prince Harry said, insisting that he may not have been aware of the specific content of the articles. He's trying to play it like, I don't know. And to be fair, he's 12. How would he know? You could read them later and then sort of put pieces together. But I imagine he would know the gist of how that was playing out at 12. There's more than thousands, perhaps millions of articles that have been written about me since 12. Because it's 20 years ago, I simply can't speculate about how it was. I certainly saw a lot of articles at the time. When private information that I have only shared with one or two people ends up on the front page of a newspaper, your circle of friends starts to shrink and diminish. So he's questioned over this paranoid. He became hugely paranoid after he read these articles. Many of the articles I did read, the vast majority were attributed to a pal, a friend, a source, an onlooker, which actually creates more suspicion about where the article comes from. As a child growing up and throughout my teenage years, I was under press evasion for most of my life up until this day. And I do feel for him in this. Let's be clear. Like, yeah, I'm rooting for him on this, but we need the evidence, right? Diana's reported visit by the Press Association. So now here's the fact that, this didn't help Prince Harry's case. The lawyer for MGN brings up the fact that the Press Association, the PA, reported that Princess Diana was due to visit the prince for his 12th birthday at Ludgrove School before any of the Mirror titles did. And the Duke says, I wasn't aware of that, which is not a good thing to be stunned on stand. Mr. Green points out that Diana's spokesman had confirmed her appearance to the Press Association. Prince Harry tries to say, well, the information there is vastly different to the information in the article itself. He told the court that observers coming to a school to catch a glimpse of his mother did not happen often. I can't remember anyone being there on my birthday, asked whether it was possible. But again, now doubt, right? So should Diana put this out before the Mirror Group did? We need proof that the Mirror Group was the first to report this and got caught, and he doesn't have any of that. Mirror's divorce story had no legitimacy. Prince Harry is responding to questions over an article published by the Daily Mirror in 1996, which mentions his feelings about then Prince Charles and the late Princess of Wales' divorce. Like most children, I took their divorce badly. I don't think the quote is a guess. I think specific information was found out. I wouldn't say it was an assumption, Prince Harry told the court. He adds the Daily Mirror article is littered with elements of private info. Mr. Green asks whether that information was likely to come from phone hacking. The article itself and every, if not most of the elements in this were intrusive, and the journalist himself had no legitimacy to put it into a newspaper, adding that obtaining that information seems incredibly suspicious to him. And that's a theme throughout it. Suspicious, sure. But again, the whole point of this is to try to prove that information. Now, we'll get that chance when Piers Morgan's on the stand and others editors when they really push the press to, well, how'd you get this and how'd you get that? And I hope Harry's team is ready to really scorch them. But right now, as this cross, yes, MGN's really putting the heat on Harry. Discussing this 1996 Mirror article about Princess Diana's visit to the school, he asked the Duke where he thinks his mother's statements came from. It seems my mother was responding to a question, but this was specifically Press Association. And as I believe I've said already, when anyone copies or repurposes any element of what's happened before, it goes to a wider audience so more people would find out about it. So he's mad that his mom gave a statement to the Press Association and then people jumped with it. I mean, that's how press works. The explanation that my mother gave would have probably have been like a red flag to any journalist. Well, yeah, because they're like, oh, she's going to be there. Article itself refers to Princess Diana visiting Prince Harry at his 12th birthday. Duke alleges that private information was leaked about his family, namely the details of his feelings regarding his parents' divorce. Mirror denies that the story was a result of unlawful information. I don't know how anyone would know that. Mr. Green turns to mention MGN's lawyer of Patty Whiteland, the family's late former gardener who was in the hospital at the time with cancer. A 1996 article says Prince Harry would probably be as distressed as his father. Okay. I don't know how anyone would know that, Prince Harry responds, to which Mr. Green brings up previous reports of then Prince Charles discussing the family's warm relationship with the gardener. Mr. Green says that previous articles refer to the fact that Princess Harry and William would visit the gardener at his home often. There were lots of people that worked on my father's estate, Prince Harry says, but as far as I remember, Mr. Whiteland's ill health was upsetting to him. Duke later quips, I feel like we're doing a workout as he's handled these bundles of cross-examination. Ha ha ha, but back to this. He's trying to claim that, how did you know that we were distressed and I was as distressed as my father about this gardener who has cancer? But then they're like, well, because you guys talked about it. Prince Charles talked about it. And this is part of the problem, right? Because he's 12. Does he really remember what press leaked it or got it before that? And is the question of how evasive should press be? That's a whole separate debate. Did they do anything illegal is really what this case is about. Second article being examined. The court has turned now to a second article in the Duke's claim, Princess Take to the Hills for the Gala. Daily Mirror article is about plans to go to a rock climbing trip with his brothers rather than attending a gala for the Queen Mother. Mr. Green asked the Duke whether he thinks some of the information in this article was because of the phone hacking, asking whose mobile is likely to have been hacked. I believe it could have been anyone from myself to my brother to Patty. Mr. Havison is the former communications secretary of the prince, but Mr. Green points out that he wasn't appointed until 2004, so that would not be a possibility. Patty was not an option. Duke tells the courts that there's quite a lot of quotes of suspicious information in the article, adding that parts of the reason we're going rock climbing 270 miles away was to avoid press intrusion. That's why they went. But MGN denies getting this information, saying that it had already been reported in the Daily Mail and Mail on Sunday beforehand, which confirmed that the brothers' absence from the gala and their rock climbing plans. They say that the non-attendance had already been confirmed by Buckingham Palace at that point. So here he's complaining about the details of this article and that they went, but it was already reported by other agencies? I mean, are you guys starting to see, like, this doesn't look good from an evidence standpoint? Asked by Mr. Green if he was aware that MGN denied the unlawful gathering, the Duke says he is, but insists that it's impossible to believe. Well, you may not believe it, but is it true? A lot of people believe things that aren't true, sadly. It's impossible to believe given the level of interest. Myself at the time, as well as how desperate journalists were for something royal. But also, let's not forget that you believe, and I would argue a fair belief, that the press pushed your mother through that car chase. Let's not forget she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and nor were you and Meghan in your alleged car chase. Let's make sure we focus on the facts, Harry, and make sure everybody, you included, wear your damn seatbelt, right? Let's make sure we include that too, because many have said she could have survived had she been wearing a seatbelt. But I digress. Mirror Group has an all hail Princess Diana. I love it's a sad thing, but let's keep it a buck. I got really mad when I saw them in this alleged dangerous car chase and they weren't buckling up. What the hell? Mirror Group has admitted to elements of phone hacking already, I believe, and the competition between newsrooms means there's going to be desperate need to find anything out about our private lives. Well, sure, but you need proof. You need proof to do this. I thought they had proof. Mr. Green then shows the Duke a Daily Mail article from July 15th, 2 days before the Daily Mirror article he's complaining about that reveals the princes were not going to be present at the Queen Mother's gala. And then Prince Harry's cross-examination begins in a third article. So they wipe out the other one, clearly proving that there was a lot of people who could have told that already reported that you were gone. So what's the secret here? This one's funny. So there's a third article titled 3 a.m. Harry's Time at the Bar about Prince Harry's birthday celebrations, which he claims divulged private information regarding his personal life, including his whereabouts at a lunch in Chelsea, London. Mr. Green points out that Sunday lunchtime on Fulham Road is a busy time and that many people could have seen Harry walking down the street. Harry responded, "No, I don't walk down streets." Well, how'd you get there? Did you go through the sewer? Okay, maybe. So yeah, it's his 16th birthday. He claims divulges private information regarding his personal life. They deny the claims and argued the photographers had been tipped off that Harry was in the pub and that he was photographed after being spotted and gathering considerable attention from people present at the Sunday lunch. They say the story contains limited and banal information about his lunch and that the paparazzi pictures were not published. So why is this even part of the list? Oh, they found out I went to a lunch, so they hacked my phone? I was rooting for Harry, but come on, there's not more than this? You're complaining because they followed you to lunch when you went to a public lunch place? So he's been doing this his whole life. Eternal victim of the press. You could have just stayed a royal and then hid in the castle and never had to see them again. But no, apparently you didn't. But yeah, the paparazzi pictures weren't even published, which is even weirder. Sorry, as my contact moves out of my eye. And thumb injury. Daily Mail snap. Harry breaks thumb with the William exclusive. Stories about an injury Prince Harry sustained to his thumb, which he alleges is private information. He said the MGN said it came from extensive prior reports in the public domain and had already been disclosed to the press by the palace. They say it had been reported the day before by the Evening Standard, Evening Edinburgh News, yada, yada, and included quotes from a palace spokesman. The Duke tells the court that he doesn't believe reporting about his broken thumb is in the public interest. So now it goes from you got that information illegally, and then it's like, well, no, it was reported in 10 other outlets, including spokesmen from the palace. And then he goes, well, it shouldn't have been reported in the first place. So now he wants to be the editor-in-chief of these magazines. I don't get it. I don't get it. Now, look, whether his thumb should be or not, that's not what's up for debate here. The question is, was it illegal? And you're here to talk about, well, you shouldn't have reported on my broken thumb. Now, at this point, I'm sorry, he is getting destroyed by this cross-examination in my mind. And I've been rooting for him in this case. What's going on? Now, granted, this is the cross. I can't wait till they go for Pierce. We'll see if Pierce gets destroyed and, others that they bring on. But have you expressed concerns to the Press Association about divulging information about your thumb? He asks Prince Harry. I have not, Harry responds, adding that he's only now aware that it was reported by the PA first. I mean, this is not good. This is not good. And this is how things have been going. I haven't, because it's not a system within the Edinburgh Evening News, I believe, unlawful information gathering. So you're just assuming that only Mirror Group does it and not everybody else, Harry? What the hell? Not only do I have no idea how they would know it, but that instills all sorts of paranoia from a boy in school. You can't trust doctors. Look, that sucks. It does, but you're a celebrity. That's what comes with being a celebrity. He can't remember reading the article at the time when it was published. I'm not the one who wrote the article. You'd have to ask the journalist. Are we not in the realms of total speculation? Asked Prince Harry about someone who hacked the phone to get the broken thumb. I don't know. I didn't write it. Well, but don't you need proof? He says they can't remember reading all the articles. There was certain people that read the BBC, the Mirror, the Mail, and just because a story has originated somewhere doesn't mean that the people around me haven't read that information. Everybody would have known that I broke my thumb at that point, but I don't believe any newspaper had the right to talk about it. So that's what this is about. You wrote a story about my broken thumb, and you shouldn't have. I thought it was about hacking phones and illegal information gathering. Prince Harry has now suggested the doctor's phone may have been hacked in order for the information about his broken thumb to be gotten out. Dude, it was reported everywhere and first and by others. Do you find it implausible that the information may have come from a fellow schoolmate, Mr. Green representing? I do not. But he can't be sure. It had to be phone hacking that you got you had to hack my doctor's phone. The paranoia is real. Mr. Green points out that in Spare, the Duke's memoir, he revealed that some school friends would reveal information about him to the press, for example, including his haircut. So again, Spare, coming out to help you, Harry. Good thing you got that book out because they can use it now to prove. The Duke said he wrote the book in hindsight, but you said it, and you revealed that people in school would do it. This is not helping your case, bud. Harry took now DRU substances. As the next question, these stories are concerning allegations that he smoked cannabis and that his father's reaction. Article says that then Prince Harry gave a stern warning, but he understood the need to appreciate his teenage years. Asked if he thinks this information was a result of phone hacking, Harry says, unlawful information gathering. Yes, because even now he's changing it. Unlawful information gathering. Mr. Green says that the information about the Duke smoking came from a series of articles published in the first edition of the News of the World on the same day. The untrue information, yes. This is the latest story. MGN says the information came from a series of articles published first by this edition, same day, followed up every newspaper. They said the palace had confirmed the story due to the now defunct News of the World after the then Prince was decided to cooperate with the title. The publisher adds that Prince Harry did not initially allege that the Sunday Mirror articles about this had been unlawfully sourced. So again, came from another source, and he's only focused on the Mirror. Here's the problem. The case is exploding in his face. This isn't good. Now, he's still in there. We're going to update you again for more parts. Stay tuned. But I wanted to get you guys to see how this is going. And as someone who was rooting for him, believes the press can be too bad, this looks bad. This isn't good. Now, granted, this is the cross-exam. Let's see them bring more information. But cross-examination, Mirror Group's lawyers are doing a damn good job at putting the pressure on respectfully, not even meanly, to Prince Harry. Like, well, how do you know this was because of unlawful? What makes you think that? Well, did you know that this was published this, there, and there? All this stuff is seeding doubts, even in me, who was like, damn, yeah, Piers Morgan clearly must have hacked these phones and blah, 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 blah. But he's got no proof. And now we go back to everything else we know about Prince Harry and Meghan and their obsession with always reporting and playing victim. The car chase that is only going to bite them in the butt, because now everyone's like, well, wait a second, that wasn't a 2-hour car chase. What are you talking about? Oh, so you're even making stuff up now. So all this could be true is what's so sad. But because of the book and the attention and the paranoia and all these assumptions, it's sinking the case already on day 2. But what do you guys think of all this? Does this surprise you? Do you think Harry's going to bounce back with more evidence? We will be following it for you. You're not going to miss our coverage. Also, Steph, the alternator, to be covering it. She helped a ton this morning because it starts earlier. Thank you, Steph. Hit the button and the bell and the like for all of our content. Appreciate you guys. We will have more later today, as well as a live to break it all down. So join us here on Popcorn Planet.